Hey yo, LAZ, man, Gen Pop Gang in the building, you heard? This is that part 2 to that new Black Knowledge movie that's on the channel, you heard? If you ain't see that part 1, make sure you type in Black Knowledge St. Lad's War with Schenectady, you heard? And check that first 2-hour installment. This is the second half where we talking about the full-fledged war in Schenectady, New York with Brooklyn that ended up having Black Knowledge on America's Most Wanted and other major law enforcement searches. You heard? Comment, gang, tear this up. Get that algorithm fluffmatic. You heard? Brooklyn in the building, Dykeman in the building. You heard? Make sure y'all share this to Facebook. Make sure y'all tweet this, X this, whatever you call it. You heard? And get at me. If you need that promo, hit me up on Instagram, Real St. Laz. So let's get it. But first, let's have a word from our sponsor.
This video was sponsored by Mitchell Law Firm. If you have a record or you happen to know somebody who has a record and that record is hindering or impeding the quality of employment they're able to obtain, I strongly suggest you seek the law services of Farrah Mitchell. Ms. Mitchell is a criminal law attorney who specializes in record expungement. Her services are nationwide, meaning regardless of whatever state you may have been convicted in, she still may be able to help. She also offers various other legal services at an extremely reasonable rate. She can be contacted at 980-329-7568. So once again, I strongly suggest you contact her, get your record expunged, and get your life back in order.
Last, every day for like about 40-something days straight, 50-something days straight, me and Hook was on them niggas' ass. Killer at one point said, yo, y'all niggas is wildin', bro. Like, y'all won't stop. Like, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna stop. I'm never gonna stop it. So I threw the car in reverse and gunned it backwards. Skrrr! So now the niggas hear the car going, skrrr! And because this thing is skirting while we flowing backwards, I'm driving backwards mad fast. The 3 little dudes was looking, right? But they were stuck. And I had the 2 joints on me, stuck both the guns out the window, told them niggas don't move. And I got them. I got both guns out the window, and I got them niggas on freeze, don't move. Because I told you the plan was to kidnap these niggas and take them and do them dirty and torture them, extract information out of them. So I got the joints backed out the window, don't move. They froze with their hands in the air. So I'm sitting there like 5 or 6 seconds go by. Yeah, so that was on that situation where we ran up in that crib. That was the second spot that we ran down, and we ran down on the niggas. You know, the dudes that I heard was involved in the situation and running up in my shit and violating my peoples and shit. So we running up in their shit and violating their peoples. I told you about the first joint when smacked dudes all upside the head, woke dudes up with 9mm gun butts all upside their foreheads and shit. They sleep and snoring like shit was sweet. And we run down on the second spot. So that's what I was doing. I was running down on all of their spots because they was local dudes from out there. They had spots they was hustling, whatever. Every spot that I heard they had, I was going to treat them, give them the business. You know what I mean? Introduce them to how we play. So at that second joint we ran into, same situation. Got knocked on the door, the owner of the crib let us in, and we caught the dudes that was in there, supposedly hustling, unawares, sleeping, lounging, broads, all sorts of shit. So we in there pistol whipping the shit out of niggas, but the toughest people in that crib, this particular crib, was the chicks. Like three little shorties and shit, little young broads, whatever. And, you know, I guess they was part of they called themselves the murder mommies and shit. And, one of the chicks had a slick mouth. The cute ones. It's always the cute ones, right? That think they above it and shit. Think they so cute that their cuteness will save them from precarious type situations. That's definitely not the case, especially when you live in a street life and doing foul shit. You're gonna reap the repercussions that everybody else get. So anyway, the one little cute broad was, you know, mouthing off and shit. And Hook was like, yo, listen, shorty, you know, I will throw your ass through that 3rd floor window and have you bouncing off cars onto the concrete. And I knew he was dead ass serious. So I'm like, nah, son, chill, right? I'm like, yo, shorty, just be easy. It's not running your mouth, but we telling them little bros, yeah, tell your niggas and tell your peoples, your bosses, or whoever y'all work for, the niggas y'all fuck with, we on their ass and we coming, and wherever they want to meet us at, wherever they want to get to it, let us know, we outside. But until then, we coming for them. They ain't gotta look for us, we coming to find them. So, you know, we said some little bros and let them go. So what happens was, right, lads, out there in Schenectady, the bros used to be lining shit up. And Killer, like I told you, Killer was in connection with a lot of the people out there because he was already out there. Plus, you know, Killer was part of the life and all that, and banging and all that. So the little homies out there that was banging and all that, I guess they kind of like, you know, they reached out to him. It was like, yo, you know what I mean? What's, you know, heard your people's out here on the rampage, you know, what's going on, whatever. So Killer hit me up, like, yo, now, whatever your dudes want to talk. I told him, I said, yo, homie, I don't want to talk. And you already know that. I told you, and I told your man, cool, from the door, once son get up here with that attache case, and we open that joint up, we go on to work. There's no discussions, nothing to talk about. But he like, so Killer, you know, Killer, if Killer was a part of my team back in the days, Killer would have been the politicker, right? The dude that politics. Because even when we was in prison in Cayuga, Killer had that gift of gab of being able to like politic with different dudes from different areas about different things, and you know, dudes was kind of like Jack and Killer politicking style. So I guess the same thing held true for when he got into the street and executed his politicking skills. So the little dudes reached out to him, and he called me, and I'm like, all right, well, listen, tell them little niggas pull up, right? They want to talk. Tell them to pull up. You know, we had different blocks out there, little spots, whatever. So we was on a block on a street called Delamont. Actually, Killer and I was already there. I met Killer over there on Delamont, and he called the dude, and I talked to the little dude on the phone, and he was like, you know how dudes be. Oh, I ain't had nothing to do with it, man. All right, cool, homie, I don't want to talk. Pull up. Talk to me in person. I don't do this over phone shit. Talk to me in person, man to man, you know what I mean? And we'll figure that shit out. So, you know, little homie, he pulled up and shit, and, you know, he was talking, and basically, you know, you know, little niggas be lying. I could tell when the nigga lying. Like, if he didn't directly have something to do with it, he knew something about it, and knew the players involved and was fucking with the people, because when I questioned him, all right, if you ain't had nothing to do with it, and you were part of this group, the cleaners or whatever, then who are these SOS cats? And you know, he tried to pass it off on the SOS cats, but kind of found out the SOS and the cleaners were kind of like the same people, more or less, right? They was the cleaners, but SOS stood for straight out of Schenectady, right? So I guess they was the cleaners straight out of Schenectady, you know, cleaning shit up straight out of Schenectady. So that little clique was kind of like one and the same, even though people would say cleaners and SOS thinking it's two different sets of individuals. Maybe it was, I don't know, but I know they was all intertwined, and I didn't give a fuck who was who. Everybody was getting the business. Starting with whoever we started with, and the little dude that was talking to Killer and came and he's trying to talk to me. I know liars, right? I know liars. I know the little nigga lying. I can read it all in his body language and his description. While we talking to him on the top of the steps, one of the little niggas that we caught in the first spot, a pistol whipped all upside the forehead. He coming with the big patch on his forehead, you know, the big white gauze and the dumb stupid tape probably stitched up and shit. And I guess he see me and Killer on the steps talking to, I guess the dude would have been considered, I guess, his big homie, like one of the leaders of his age bracket, or the little cleaner shit or whatever that gang was that they was in. So, you know, I guess he was like, yeah, we gonna straighten this shit out. Now his bop was aggressive and he got his hand all in his way. So as soon as he like got a little close enough to the set where I could dictate policy to him, I immediately backed out. Get your motherfucking hands out your pocket, first of all, stupid. You don't approach no men with your hand in your pocket like you got a gin or a joint on you. You ready to get busy. He snatched his hands out of his pocket, threw it in his hands in the air, pat his little dumb ass down. He ain't had no blicky. And now he stating his case. So I made him stand across the street. You stupid, you can't even come over here when we conversate. You stand right there over here across the street while we over here talking. You come over here across this motherfucking street, I'm gonna blow your head off in front of everybody. That's exactly what I told the little nigga. And he stood his little ass right there across the street while I was talking to this other little nigga that was busy lying. So I'm listening to a little dude, let the little dude lie and all. I said, all right, listen, homie, at the end of the day, homie, if you ain't got nothing, you don't know the nigga, all right, let them know, you know what I mean? I'm out, we out here now. You know, they said what they said, they did what they did, robbed the spot, violated my peoples. Now I'm here to straighten it out. And wherever they want to do it at, however they want action, tell them to let me know, and I'll come to them. Wherever they at, I'll come to them. Had they guns or whatever ready, I'll come to them. So they ain't got to be coming looking for me. I ain't got to be looking for them. Name the place, the date and time, and I'm pulling up. So, you know, Shorty's seen it. He and the aggression, I guess the pistol whipping on his man and all that. He knew that. Okay, these niggas ain't, whoever this dude is referring to me and Hook and Kill, these niggas ain't playing, right? These niggas is dead ass serious. And son is on some aggressive shit. Me, because I'm super aggressive with it, because I'm ready to get busy. I don't want to talk. I want the action. Y'all niggas wanted this, so now y'all got it. Let's get to it. What happened was, these little dudes, you know what I mean, they don't know me. I'm not from out there. I'm just popping out there getting bread and bouncing, so they don't know me. They knew Kumar, you know what I mean? My man Killer Man and shit. They knew him. So they tried to pull a stunt on him. You know what I mean? Later on that night, I get the call from Killer, like, yo, Cool, want to talk to you, pull up. So I go pull up at the nigga crib. And I'm like, what's up? And he tells me that, yo, these niggas tried to bust a move on me. I'm like, who? And the dudes that he described and who he said and who he named was the same little dude that was supposed to be the leader that Killer told me wanted to talk and that I met. He's like, yeah, them niggas tried to surround his little Jeep. They was masked up, had little guns and shit, and they was like looking inside of his shit. And he said, Cool was like, I guess they was looking for you, but you don't be with me, you don't be in my shit, so what the fuck they looking all in my shit for? And he said, I felt uncomfortable, so I got the fuck up out of there. So I was like, all right, don't worry about it, homie, no problem. I got it. Now, mind you, remember when I first told you the story and I told you I was talking to Killing the dude Cool to get the intel on the dudes, whatever, and I told you the dude Kumar was kind of like, yo, what you gonna do? I'm like, don't worry about it, I got it, whatever. I told you initially, he was like, he probably looked at me like, you know, oh, this dude ain't about nothing. He let, you know, them niggas did what they did. He probably thought I was soft or something. He didn't know who I was, man. He didn't know who I was. He didn't know what I represented, what I stood for, how I played. He started finding out about, you know what I mean? Because he tell me, he said, yo, y'all ran in 2 of their spots and pistol whipped 2 of the workers, and I said, yeah, that's exactly what we did, and I'm not finished, because I got a list of names, and everybody on that name is getting the business, and that's how it's going down. So now he looking at me a little bit differently, and Killer like, yeah, son, that nigga kind of shook you now, because he like, yo, your man is bugged the fuck out, where the fuck you find him at, and can you calm him down, because he about to turn shit up, and this shit gonna get crazy, niggas ain't gonna be able to get no money, because niggas gonna be going to war. Killer was like, nah, I can't talk to that man ain't trying to hear nothing. Them niggas wanted it, so now they gonna get it. Plus they tried to pull a stunt on you, so he really gonna turn up now. And that's what we did. So now we still running around, running up in their spots and riding around looking for them dudes. We riding around because the Shorty never got back to Kill in terms of like they wanted to meet or whatever and get busy, so they saw niggas wasn't playing, so they was, you know what I mean? The cowards started coming out of niggas, right? So all right, y'all don't want to come out, we gonna come find y'all. I know who dudes is, so I know where they did, so now we riding all over Schenectady, all up and down, Emmett, Brandywine, Craig, all them streets out in Schenectady, you know what I mean? I guess whatever that side where the boys club was or whatever that side of Schenectady was called, where them dudes be at, them cleaner dudes, SOS dudes, we all up in that area. Riding around looking. So we coming up this street, I think it was Brandywine. It was either Brandywine or Emmett. We coming up the street and it's like it's like 4 or 5 of us in a car. We, you know what I mean, one of Killer Mans had a car, you know what I mean, because them niggas knew my cars that I was in, because I was jumping out on them and violating. They saw the car, so if they would have sold the car again, they would have got on point and either fired or got low, got the fuck up out of Dodge. But what happened was, I skipped the part. The reason they ran down on a homie Kumar is because after I tried to get with them to pull up, and they didn't want to pull up after I spoke to that little leader dude or whatever. They didn't want to pull up, and you know what I mean, I went like maybe a day or so. I'm going around looking for them. I'm still bringing little dudes from my projects back and forth out there. So now I'm going to get the hitters, some of my little hitters back, you know what I mean? So I got one of my little hitters with me from 303 and some of that shit, and I got 2 joints on me, and he got 2 joints on him. So he like, yo, big homie, what's the play? I said, yo, we riding down on these niggas, and we catch them, we kidnapping them, and we, you know what I mean, taking them where we taking them, and we doing them dirty and then we gonna extract the information out of them. On the next people, we gonna keep doing the same. We gonna keep going up the ladder till we get to who we looking for, the main niggas. So he was like, all right, he with it. Man, so mind you, lads, I just mentioned to you, these are my young homies, right? These are the little homies that I met and got put on to and started fucking with after I came home, right? Because this is like 9 and all that. So I remember we went up in the 80s and shit, 86. So these dudes aren't dudes that I ever really fucked with like that, the way I did with my team of dudes and my crew of dudes back in the 80s when we was running wild. So all these dudes, I never got a chance to really test them, you know what I mean, to put them to the test to see how they get busy, whatever. But you know how niggas be, oh, son, bust his gun or whatever. All right, you bust your gun, you won't come put some work in, come on. Let me see. You know what I mean? I'm going to give you a shot. Let me see if you bust your gun like they say you do. So I got the little homie out there. We 2 deep in the car. So I told him what the play was. So we riding around looking for dudes. So we ran down this particular block where dudes usually be at. We didn't see them. As that block was a one-way. As we driving down the street, the little homie, you know, because we perimeter watching everything. We looking in front of us, to the side of us, and back of us, because we looking for targets. Son that was in the passenger seat from the project said, yo, big bro, there go some niggas that just came out that crib back there, and it's like 3 of them, and one of them dudes fit the description of the dude you described to me. So I couldn't really see, but when I looked through my rearview mirror, I saw like 3 dudes. So I threw the car in reverse and gunned it backwards. Skirt! So now the niggas hear the car going skirt, and because this nigga skirting while we flowing backwards, I'm driving backwards mad fast. And it was an opening area. It was an opening, and in that opening between houses was like a dumpster, a little dumpster where if you're doing construction and you breaking down houses, you throw the shit in a little dumpster. It was one of them there, and it was an open lot, like, you know, and I guess that dumpster was sitting there, whatever they might have been doing construction. So when I backed up and skated into that spot, the 3 little dudes was looking, right, but they were stuck. And I had 2 joints on me, stuck both the guns out the window, told them niggas don't move. And I got him. It's the little nigga that I was just talking to a couple days before with Killer. The little nigga that I was looking for that tried to pull a stunt with his little mans on my man Kumar. So I got him. So I got both guns out the window, and I got them niggas on freeze, don't move. Because I told you the plan was to kidnap these niggas and take them and do them dirty and torture them, extract information out of them. So I got the joints backed out the window, don't move. They froze with their hands in the air. So I'm sitting there like 5 or 6 seconds go by. So you know, the homie's in my passenger seat to the right. So he's behind me because I'm out the window with both of my arms fully extended out the window with both guns in my hand. Got these niggas on lock. So I'm like, why the fuck the car door's not opening? Because as soon as I backed the niggas down, I was supposed to hit boom. That's the car door opening and closing, and my man running around with the joint and holding them niggas there until I got out the car, and we was gonna do what we did to them and take whoever we was gonna take. So I turned around and look inside the car. The little homie that's with me, he's sitting there on stuck mode, lad. This nigga got his mouth wide open, watching me. So I was like, I didn't send some. I was like, I sucked my teeth, and I was like, yo, and pulled my arms in the car window and took my left hand still with the gun in to reach down to unlatch the car door so I get out. Them niggas fall down. As soon as I pulled my hands in the window and stuck my arm down to unlatch the door, them niggas, when I say them niggas hauled ass, lad, remember when I told you that Tracy Morgan joint, when he hauled ass and all I saw was the bottom of his sneakers and his feet was kicking his ass? That's what I saw when them 3 niggas, when they was trying to dive over garbage cans because they thought I was gonna fire. But I wasn't gonna fire. I'm not. Y'all running, and y'all got a nice little distance. I'm not gonna No, because I'm not gonna get no information out you like that. I'm gonna get you and take you where I want to take you, so I can do what I want to do to you and get that info out you. So that's why them little dudes ran down on Kumar, because when I backed them down like that and froze them up like that, and then tried to get out the car so I could kidnap them and all that, and they ran for their lives, they was like, oh, this shit's serious. And that's why they pulled the stunt that they did with the dude Kumar surrounding his V and all that. So now moving forward, all right, so now I know they know what's up. So so the little homie, so I asked him, I said, yo, boy, what the fuck was you doing? Like, right, what? When I backed the hammers out, it stuck my guns out the window and I got them frozen. Why the fuck didn't you open the door, run around and grab the niggas? He's like, yo, I ain't gonna stop big on me. My bad, I was just too busy watching you. Because the way that shit we played out was like a movie. The car skidding, all crazy in reverse. And then I didn't know you had two big ass guns like that on you. You pulled them shits out of nowhere and stuck your arms out that motherfucking window, sir. He said, I was just expecting you to start blasting. I didn't know you wanted. I said, I told you we was gonna kidnap him. Right? That's what I said. But I had to hold them still so they couldn't run. Your job was to get out and get him. So in my mind, I'm like, yeah, he not ready, because he didn't know what his responsibilities was. So I know he wasn't trained in tactical maneuvers or any types of art of war, because he froze. Right? To me, that's a freeze. Right? You froze because you had a job to do. You got your own gun on your waist. What the fuck you watching me for? Where's your action? Right? So I took him back to the crib or whatever. I mean, took him back to the hood eventually, and had, brought some other dudes out there with me. But on this particular day, because I'm like, I wasn't jacking that. You know what I mean? That could have cost somebody their life, freezing in a situation. Especially, I turned around to see what was going on. Them niggas would have had hammers. They could have backed them hammers out and tuned the car up or whatever, right? So I'm like, nah, bro. Yeah, let me get this nigga from around me. So anyway, we in the car now. We 4 deep. It's me. It's Hook Off. It's Killer. It's myself and the driver. So yeah, the driver. So yep, it was the driver. So it was just us 4. Could have been 5 dudes. It could have been one more dude, but not particularly certain. But we going up the street where we know them niggas be at. So yeah, I keep skipping parts because the story was a while ago, and certain things I'm gliding past. But I know when the homie Killer and them dudes, they hear it, they'll probably hit me up like, yo, homie, you forgot this part or whatever. But a part that let me backtrack a little bit. So after I tried to kidnap them dudes and the homie froze up and they got away. I'm still politicking with the homie Killer, and he giving me intel like, yo, son, there's a couple broads that be with these dudes, and they known for setting dudes up. Because I told you about the little murder mommy girls that we ran down on that was at that second location where we kicked the spot and all that. And what Killer was telling me was that them little bros was known for like fucking with dudes that come from out of town that's getting money and then setting them up, lining them up for the cleaners or SOS niggas, whatever the game was called. That's how they rolled. And Killer knew of this one chick in particular that fucked with dudes, and I guess she was running them out, and he heard she might have been in the location where they robbed the joint and did my little man dirty, took his jewelry, pistol whipped him, and was talking crazy to the chick and all that. So I'm like, all right, homie, well, where's she at? So we gonna go get her. So he's like, all right, chill, I know I could probably get her before you. I'll let you know if I grab her. So sure enough, Killer man of his word, he grabbed her and called me over to a little particular block. I went to the particular block where he told me to pull up at, and then the crib, and I went in the crib. This nigga Killer had the broad duct tape tied the fuck up. It was hilarious. He had it tied up with her hands tied behind her back and her feet tied, and then he tied her hands to her feet on some hog tie. Right. They thought it was a game. Everybody was getting the business, chicks included. So they thought it was sweet. So I go in there, she hog tied, looking stupid, scared to death. You know what I mean? So I extract the info from her. I got more info, which led us to where we was at when it was us four in the car and we pulled up on that set I'm about to tell you about. So we, you know what I mean, let Shorty go, whatever, told her, yeah, you know what I mean, because I wasn't going to try to hurt the girls. I'm just sending threatening messages to they niggas, right? I'm on your ass, wherever you wanted at, let me know. We pulling up, we outside, and we coming. So she showed the Shorty that we had tied up and hog tied, and all that gave us some intel that was useful. So Killer like, yo, son, we doing all this daytime shit, chill, let's wait till the evening. I'm like, nah, fuck all that. All day long, every day, we giving these niggas the business, all types of hours. You know what I mean? We on the clock. We at work 24 hours a day to get these niggas. So it's like mid-afternoon, still sunny outside, still bright outside. We going up that street, I think it was Emmett. Brandywine and Emmett, that leads up towards Craig at the top, where that boys club was. We going up that street, and lo and behold, who do we see? A crew about 5, 6, 7, 8 broads and dudes. So as the dude that's driving, he from out there. So he like, yo, now it's there. There they go right there. The broad right there, the light-skinned broad, that's the main nigga you looking for. That's his girl. So I was like, what? I said, oh, we getting her. So I jump out the car because I was in the front passenger seat. I jump out the car, and Killer is in the back seat, him and Hook. So they just opened their car doors. They didn't come out. I guess they just kind of like opened to see what I was going to do. So I jumped out the car and ran down on all of them right there in the middle of the street, bro. I backed out the hammers. Nobody moved. And so when I went to turn my head to frisk the dudes, I heard Killer behind me. Yo, son, watch out, she got a joint. So when I looked back to the girls, I ain't really pay the girls no mind, and that could have cost me, right? That could have cost me, lads, because you're not supposed to underestimate nobody. But when I backed everybody down, the girls played the role. Oh, timid, scared to death and all that. I was focusing on niggas, but actually it was the broad that had the blicky, the same broad that homie said, yo, that's the main dude girl. So when Killer was like, yo, son, watch out, she got a joint. When I turned my head, she was lifting. She had a little black snub-nosed Tray 8. She was lifting it out her pants, and she got her arm extended, and she was lifting her arm towards, you know what I mean, aiming towards my head, lifting it, but she was too slow because she a girl. I don't know what type of tactics she was used to, or what type of nigga she was used to doing shit like that too. She I don't know if she thought I was gonna freeze or whatever, but when she did that, I ducked low, just in case she was shooting, because she was aiming for that. I ducked, and I extended my left hand and grabbed her wrist with her gun hand, which was her right hand. I grabbed her wrist, threw her arm up in the air, and twisted her wrist counterclockwise, and rocked the shit out of her with that motherfucking hammer right upside her head. Boom! Knocked her cold, clean the fuck out. Took the joint. I was looking, oh, this bitch had a 38 revolver, and it was fully loaded. I said, oh shit, she wasn't playing. I said, I like that, I respect her. So I told Hook and them came running out of the car and all that. I said, yo, pick this bitch up, we taking her with us. So we took that broad, threw her in the car, and those was kidnapping charges and all that, but the statute of limitation on that should have been ran, like 9/9 and all that, right? But we got Shorty in the car, so she in the back seat with Hook and Killer. So I passed the joint back there to Killer. Hook already had a gun. Hook back there, going upside Shorty. I told you, Hook shit was unisex. He didn't give a fuck, male or female. You on the opposite side, he's going upside your head. So I guess by they back there interrogating Shorty, trying to get info on her, she ain't really trying to comply. So I guess Hook had to let her know it was a little bit serious, and went upside her head a couple of times, and she immediately started complying. So they back there frisking her, and I heard Killer like, oh, what's this? And he like, yo, son, what's this? And he actually pulled out the chain and the piece that they took from my little man. So now I know we on the right trail. We got the right people. We definitely got the right broad, because this broad got my little man fresh chain and medallion in her pocket, right? So they took that out. I'm like, oh, he gonna be happy. We got his shine back, and they whatever money she had, little monies and little drugs. One of the took that from her. So they, we driving around. I got the dude driving us around. I'm like, yo, drive us around. Keep driving us around these little dark spots or whatever, till we figure out what we're gonna do with Shorty. So, Shorty was back there copping her pleas. Oh, I'm sorry, and please, I ain't had nothing to do with it. No, and she told everything. She told on her man. She told everything. Where them niggas be at? What's the address? How to get in? How many guns they had in there, and all that wild shit. And we utilized that information and went to work. Right? We went to work, and Shorty, and funny shit was we kidnapped Shorty around and drove her around with us, and she kind of like watched some of that work get put in. Like she was like she was like, what the fuck, right? These niggas is bugged out. Now, mind you, I told you we snatched Shorty off the street in broad daylight. She was with about 8-9 people, so we snatched her up and I smacked upside the head and knocked out and took the joint from her and all that, and we threw her in the car. All them people that was, while we drive away, they running off. And I guess they ran off to get her man and them niggas we was looking for. So them dudes went, and the dude, her man, he went, and we had another little spot on this little particular block. He went over there, and my man Fresh, the one that got robbed, he was in there. He went over there to that spot where he knew, you know what I mean, we was rocking at him. And he kicked him and his man. They kicked the door down. You know what I mean? They had kicked the door down, and they in there looking for dudes or whatever. I guess they had their little joints on them. They kicked the door down, whatever. So simultaneously, while all this is going on, we didn't know this yet. We had got the intel from Shorty where the dudes was at, the crib. So we go pull up on the crib. You know what I mean? I get out the car. She already told me everything I need to know. So I see the crib. I know it's there. So I get out the car. I got the speed walk. Hook it out, he behind me, killer behind him. The other dude got the girl in the car holding her, you know what I mean, making sure there's a couple of dudes across the street watching us, looking like, who these niggas getting out the car? I didn't say nothing, waste no time, got right out that car, walked right up on that porch, kicked that motherfucking door in, and went to work. Went straight to work. The nigga killer was like, yo, son, you don't even be waiting, you don't hesitate, you don't like nothing. So remember I told you, I said, yeah, killer never really seen me get busy. He probably heard about my jail stories and my exploits or whatever, but he never really actually seen it with his own eyes. And I told you that the way Kumar was acting, I couldn't wait to show them how busy I get, right? So, right, because I'm gonna show you how we turn up and how you supposed to turn up when niggas violate. So killer was like, damn, homie, like you not playing no games. Like, I'm like, nah, I'm not playing with these niggas. I'm gonna teach these niggas a lesson that they never gonna forget. So we giving out the business. We get back in the car. We still riding around with Shorty, getting more intel on the next place we gonna go run down on. After we get that, while we riding around doing that, we get the call. Lil Fresh call me, panicking. Yo, help! He's screaming help, all sorts of goofy shit. I'm like, help. I'm like, yo, what's up, nigga? Fuck is wrong with you? Why you sound panicky and all that? He's like, yo, the dudes, they here, they in the living room and all that. They kicked the door down, they got guns, they pistol whipping them. I said, where you at? He said, I'm at the such and such. I said, all right, we coming right now. I said, but where you at in the house? Why they ain't got you? He's like, I'm hiding. Yo, this shit ain't funny, but it's funny. And see, this is what I be talking about street life, right? And dudes that think they ready for street life, if you're not really ready for street life and you don't know what that shit entails, keep your fucking ass on the curb out the street, homie, because you in these streets and you don't know what you're doing or you ain't really about it, you gonna get hit by one of these wild trucks coming through. Big shit too, probably smash your dumb ass. So anyway, he talking about he hiding. So I'm like, I'm like, all right, stay right there. So we skirt, we get to the spot. I jumps out the car. When I'm jumping out the car, running to the joint, them niggas is coming out. I immediately went to work. Just went crazy with the Ninas. Them niggas is jumping off fire escapes, tumbling downstairs, every way in the world to get the fuck up out of Dodge, homie. Them niggas, because there's no reason to talk. There's nothing to negotiate. This was one of the main niggas I was looking for. I probably figured by the time we got there, they probably found my man and probably did him dirty and probably off him. So my whole thought process is, as soon as I get to the scene, I'm giving out the business. I didn't tell Killer nothing because I'm assuming they already know what it's hitting for. We don't gotta talk. when I came up, I communicated with my niggas without words because we knew what it was hitting for when it was time for action. So I'm hoping and assuming that these dudes, a couple generations behind, know about those type of tactics, and they gonna be, you know, doing what they supposed to do. So as soon as the car stop, I jump out, run to the joint, I'm catching niggas as they trying to come out and go to work. Now, the niggas that didn't get away, and the niggas that hauled ass. So we run up in the spot looking for the nigga. I'm like, yo, the people, and I'm like, yo, where's they like, yo, I don't know, he disappeared. So I call this nigga phone. I'm like, yo, where the fuck you at? He's like, yo, they shooting. I said, yeah, that was up, stupid. Where you at? He's like, yo, I'm on the ledge. I said, the ledge? Where? This nigga climbed out the window last and was, you know, like in the movies where niggas stand on ledges and shit. He had his back pressed against the wall and he was
How high up?
3-4 stories, because that building had like 3-4. That house had like it was like a 3-story house. So he was like in the attic, out the attic window, on the ledge, on the side of the house. If we would see, if he was a sniper with a joint where he could have picked us all off, but he was so scared when he heard the shots, he thought that was the people in the house and everybody getting the business, and he was next. So he was scared to death. That's it. Bottom line, he was scared to death. Back pressed against the wall. So let me show you how funny this nigga Hook is. So Hook mad as fuck. So Hook walking around the perimeter of the house like, yo, where this nigga at? I don't see it. Where you at? And I'm like, yo, son, this is us down here. Say something. Let us know where you at. So he like, yo, I'm up here. So we like, yo. He said, yo, son, they gone. Go back in the house. He like, yo, I can't get back in. Like he was scared. Like, I guess he moved so far away from that window when he heard them shots. It was getting so far away that now he was scared to come back. Yo, the nigga Hook said, you don't want to go back in? All right, nigga, then jump. I said, yo, this nigga Hook is relentless and ruthless. I'm like, nah, son, chill, don't jump. So I sent the people who Crip was and a couple other people that was there with them. I said, yo, go up there and get him. So they went in there and they kind of made some sort of shit. They got him. They leaned all out the window and they grabbed hold of him and they and they walked him back in. Shit, he came down. You know, he came down the stairs. You know how niggas be having when they be wide-eyed lads with the big eyes all wide and weird and shit and like scared to death, like they saw ghosts. I'm like, yo, go home. You good? You all right? You what's up? You want to go home? You shook or you what's up? He's like, nah, I'm good. I want to stay. He said, yo, but like the first of them niggas came in there screaming and yelling about their girl and he was pistol whipping people and he said it was crazy. So I thought I was going down. I said, how you get away? He said, when I heard the door kick in, I thought it was the police, so I was already hauling that. But when I saw it was niggas, he said, I ran up and got out that window. I was like, yo, I said, all right, son. I said, that was, you know, because we still had the broad. I said, yo, that was this nigga bitch right here. I said, this is her. He said, oh, y'all the ones who kidnapped her. Yeah, that nigga came in there, he flipping, looking for his girl and all. I said, all right, don't worry, we got her. So, you know what I mean, have her, we going to have her call him and, you know, do an exchange, him for her, whatever. Long story short, I guess we had Shorty trying to call the nigga. He wasn't picking up or he wasn't answering, whatever. So we couldn't give him. So we kind of, like I said, I wasn't really trying to hurt the Shorty, but we was definitely going to put the fair guard on her and let her know, Shorty, you playing street games with street dudes or supposedly street dudes, and y'all playing with people y'all don't know nothing about. These are the consequences. So if I was you, and she was a pretty little girl too, little pretty light-skinned girl, she had green eyes, she was like one of the baddest little shorties out there, that from what I heard later on in life, when I ran into some dudes from Schenectady, you know, as I'm transitioning to the story. So eventually, you know, after we got all of the information and intel out of Shorty, gave Fresh back his chain too. It was like, yo, she had your chain and she had this gun and some of your money and these drugs. So take them drugs from her and that money, whatever, and your jewelry back. The chain is popped or whatever, but at least you got your shit back. And that cookie you got on your forehead from when they pistol whipped you and all that, don't worry, we giving out the business behind that. So you know what I mean? So you gonna be paid in full, you Gucci. And for them violating my little lieutenant talking about feeling titties and all that goofy shit, we violating they bitches, right? Because I told you last, I do what niggas do. right? You violate me in a certain way, I'm giving you back that same energy that you gave me. You disrespected my little man, robbed my little man, pistol whipped him all upside his head, and talked crazy to my little lieutenant chick, my peoples and all that, talking like some real pedophile, rapist type shit. All right, well, when we catch your niggas is getting that same treatment, and when we catch your bitches is getting that same treatment. So now, all this shit going back and forth. Not even, there's no back and forth. Because them niggas wasn't putting in no pain. We're hunting these dudes down. And these dudes were supposed to be the Schenectady killers. You know what I mean? The niggas that was putting in the pain, right? But me and Hook, every day, running down on shit, pistol whipping shit. But so it got so much to the point where the nigga Kumar was begging Killer to talk to me, to get me to chill, because he was getting so much slack from dudes trying to get him to stop me, to call me. But I don't know that man. That man don't know me. That man can't tell me nothing. They didn't rob his spot and violate his peoples. They robbed my shit and violated my peoples. So they got to deal with me, my rap. You know what I mean? You can only talk to me in order to get me to negotiate something or calm something down. You can't talk to nobody else because they not the ones putting the pain in. Me and Hook doing this. So we not trying to talk. So they saw we wasn't stopping, and when I say we was giving out the business, Les, I sent you the paperwork. You seen it. We was giving out the business. And we was giving out the business so much that them dudes, and these is all facts. I don't care how niggas feel when they hear it, these is all facts. You shouldn't have violated in the first place, right? So we wouldn't be having these topics and conversations to discuss, right? But these is all facts. And this part of the facts is we ran them niggas out of their own little portion of Schenectady and ran them niggas across a little bridge into this little area called Mount Pleasant, right? And we got wind of where they was down in Mount Pleasant, and we ran down at the crib where they was out in Mount Pleasant, but that was more of like that area where they was at was more of like a white kind of like area. And when we rolled down in the cars and there was dudes out there, and we jumped out the cars, niggas ran in cribs and all that round shit, and niggas was like, nah, son, shit was mad, too many white people, because all the shit was like summertime action. Everybody was outside. When we was giving out the business in broad daylight, middle of the evening, late at night, anywhere we catch you, you was getting the business. And like I said, we chased them dudes out of their own little portion of Schenectady, whatever that area of Brandywine and Broadway and State Street and Craig and Delamar and all them streets over there, that whole little area, whatever that area was called, where they frequented and where they hung out at, they wasn't frequenting that and hanging out there no more, because we was, even where we kidnapped Shorty at, every day we was up and down that strip. Every day people saw us. And I wasn't hard to find. I mean, I wasn't hard to identify. I had long dreads at the time. Dark-skinned nigga with dreads and Hook with them scars on his face. So they already knew what it was hitting for. Dark-skinned nigga with dreads and the dude with scars on his face out here going ape shit. Right? We was going ape shit so much up there in Schenectady that shit was getting all the way back down to Brooklyn, because there was a lot of dudes out there from New York. Because some dudes from New York was letting other dudes know, yo, some niggas up there in Schenectady that's supposed to be from Brooklyn going ham on them niggas up there. They didn't know it was us. If they didn't know it was us, they'd have been like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But long story short, like I said, you know, dudes is playing hide and go seek. We trying to catch these dudes. So everybody on that list that I had, I caught, right? It was just two people on that list that I didn't get, which was the dude who girl we kidnapped, and who was one of the main dudes that ran up in the spot, and it was the one, come to find out, was the one that pistol whipped my little man and took a shot, him and another nigga that he be with. So so this was like a year, this was like, all this was going on in 99, we going into 2000, right? 2000, I'm still hunting niggas down, right? Because I don't stop until I get what I came to get, homie. I don't care how long it take. I'm relentless like that. I'm gonna get you, right? So all this time, you know, I'm still out there in Schenectady. I'm doing what I want. I'm done took over, right? All the bros that was out there that, you know what I mean, that was around at the times of all that, these little wars, and got a chance to see how all these so-called tough niggas was moving and how they was acting. You know what I mean? Little homie Miss West, shout out to Miss West, and you know what I mean? And the other chicks that was out there that I'm gonna keep naming and all that, but Miss West was in the mix, you know what I mean, rapping and all that, and she's seen it with her own eyes, how, like, she used to call me gangster. She's like, damn, gangster, I ain't never seen no shit like this in my life. You by yourself in their club. This is the club where these niggas be at. And this is where they always sit at. And you sitting in their seats where they sit at, waiting on these niggas, and these niggas coming in here, seeing you in here, and getting the fuck up out of here. She said, I ain't never seen no shit like that in my life, because these niggas was the niggas, so-called niggas that was terrorizing Schenectady. Right? Niggas is always lions and bears and gorillas until they come up against other lions, bears, and gorillas. You know what I mean? So, like I said, all that shit was culminating. We giving out the business. I'm chasing dudes down any chance I get. So I finally, you know what I mean? Probably like 2000 going to 2001, I finally get the call that I'm waiting for. Same dude. You know what I mean? Because I told you, we terrorizing shit, putting pressure on dudes so they hiding, staying low. But once in a while, they pop out. So these niggas, they popped out. The dude of the girl we kidnapped, the main dude that I wanted, he popped out at one of their local bars and shit, clubs and shit. So my man hit me. He like, yo, son, this nigga in here, you know what I mean? He in here right now. He got a gun on him. He pulled out a gun on me, talking about he was looking for you, asking me where my man such and such at, and he ain't scared of me. He ain't hiding, and whatever. If I'm looking for him, tell me to pull up and all that wild shit. So my man told me, so I'm like, okay, son, where you at? And he like, yo, I'm over here at such and such. I said, all right, what time the spot closed? He's like, yo, the spot closed now. I said, yo, he there, right? He said, yeah, he ain't going nowhere. He gonna be here till the spot closed. I said, all right, cool. When the spot closed, I'm pulling up. Just stay there. Keep your eyes on him. Don't let him get away. If he tries to leave, call me. But stay there. So cool. He did that. Hook, you know, I told you this is some time later, back and forth. Hook was working. He had a job, so he couldn't really stay there all the time. So on the times when he went back to New York and shit, and Killer was wherever Killer was going, I was on my dolo missions, running around putting in that dolo pain, right? Because I'm gonna put the pain in until I'm satisfied. That's just how it's going down. And that particular night when I get the call from my little homie about him being in the club and the nigga pressing him, I just happened to be on the other side, that side where Kumar lived, at this lady crib. And this lady, she had a daughter, 2 daughters and shit. And one of her daughters was fucking with this dude. I'll never fucking forget this dude. His name was D. He was from the Bronx. A dude named D from the Bronx. And he was a blood nigga, right? You know what I mean? And you know how dudes do, lads. He you know, I've been going over to the crib, whatever, hollering at the people's over there, and he be seeing me. You know, we say what's up to each other, whatever, because he in the crib with the, you know, one of the daughters and whatever. So I say what's up to him. He from New York City. I'm from New York City. We chop it up, whatever. When I get the call that night, he right there listened to me on the phone. So, and then that was a crib sometimes where I kept some of my blickies at. So I start going to get the joints. And he like, yo, big bro, what's up? You going to put some work in? I said, yeah, one of these things I've been waiting to catch. He said, yo, let me come, I'll hold you down, I'll watch your back. And I was like, so, you see, lads, this is what happens too. So all the little homies listening and all that, always go with your first instinct. If you get a instinct or a spider sense about an individual, stick to that. When a little homie said to me, yo, big homie, let me go with you, you know what I mean, I get busy, let me put work in. My first, very first thought that popped into my head last when he said that was, nah, son, you don't know this nigga. You don't know nothing about this nigga. And he probably don't even get busy, right? Or maybe he could have, but right? I don't know. I just didn't, you know, he didn't have that Jordash look that I referred to that the dudes had back in the days that I knew wasn't playing. Yeah, I didn't get that from him. I didn't get the Jordash look. I didn't get nothing from him that indicated anything about street business. But he was gung-ho. He was like, oh, hold shit down. I'm like, all right, bro. I said, fuck it, come on. I gave a little nigga drink because it's nothing better than somebody having your back, even if, you know what I mean, they're not going to do what they supposed to do all the way, but at least if they even fake a front or fake a jack, it might help me out in the situation, because I know that I'm going to a club that's full of niggas, mainly his niggas. You know what I mean? Because we in Schenectady, in they town and all that. So we pull up to the joint. I'm parked outside. I call my little man. Like, yo, they still in there? He said, yeah, they in there. So I'm like, yo, I'm outside. My little man came outside, and I ain't gonna front. My little man, he had a few little niggas with him, too, about 4 or 5 little homies with him from projects and shit that was holding him down or whatever. So I'm like, And one of the little dudes was a wild little hitter that I liked this shit. My little man Mez, you know what I mean? R.I.P. to the little homie Mez. Mez and shit, he was a little real solid, get busy dude. So he was like, yo, oh, it's lit. Big homie here. We gonna give out the business. I'm like, yo, y'all dudes strapped? He like, nah. I said, don't worry about it. I got these joints. I'ma handle it. Where's son at? He's like, yo, he in the back. Whatever, he gonna be coming out. This is what he got on. They described his entitlement. He's like, don't forget, he got that joint. He got that joint in his right pocket. I'm like, all right, cool, don't worry about it. I got him. So we waiting. And now the club is dispersing. As the club dispersing, everybody coming out the club. I'm in the car. So the dude that I'm telling you about, the dude D from the Bronx, the little blood dude with the glasses, the whole time he watching me, he like, yo, all right, big homie, so what's the play? What you gonna do? I said, what you mean? I'm gonna put this work in. He was like, right here in front of all these people. I said, so when he said all that, and I saw the look in his eyes when I said, put this work in, they kind of got big a little bit, and I saw fear across his face. I said, yo, stay in the car, homie. I said, yo, you chill in the car. I said, I got it. Just keep the car running, you know what I mean? And because we getting up out of here hot. So he jumped in the driver's seat with a little bit of relief, but I could tell, I said, damn, I shouldn't have brought this nigga with me, man. I kept saying that to myself, damn. But it's too late. He already here, and I'm already committed. Fuck it, it gotta play out. How it's gonna go, right? So the niggas coming out, so I stop the dude, and when I spot him coming out the club, I run from the joint, from the car with the joint in my hand, going to work, right? Which is what we like, right? No talking, no nothing. Just going to work. About 300-400 motherfuckers coming out the club, niggas running everywhere, diving everywhere, jumping out, trying to, you know what I mean, get all about the way and shit. And son running, he trying to run through people, and I'm on his ass. There's no getting away from me, bro. I'm on his ass, and because really, I didn't really want to clap him in front of all of the people. I would have, right, because I knew he had a gun on him, but I wanted to apprehend him and take him with me so I could do him filthy and really do him dirty, 80s style. Show him how we play when we get you in the places where we take you to, right? So those are my intentions, to wound them and then take them so I could really do him dirty. But no, he wasn't really. So he running, but while he running, and I'm chasing him through crowds and all that, so he got his arm extended back, you know what I mean, with the gun aimed at, but he keep doing that, and I'm ducking as I'm chasing him, but I don't hear no shots going off. So I'm like, oh, this nigga bluffing. So he ran through a crowd. So this is how he tried to freak me. He ran through a crowd of niggas, and when I ran through the crowd to get him, I think somebody kind of like bumped me or whatever, and threw me off balance. And when they threw me off balance, he came rushing back through the crowd and grabbed my gun hand. So he got my right wrist in his hand, and he trying to hold on. So I'm, you know what I mean, I'm trying to aim to join him, but I'm also keeping my eye on his hand because I knew he had what appeared to be a joint that he pulled out and that he was aiming when he was running. So I'm looking for that while he holding my hand, but he wasn't stronger than me. So I started, you know how those ropes that dudes be doing when they in the gym, where they be doing them exercises with them ropes, shaking their hands up and down, up and down, up and down. Mm-hmm. That's how I started shaking my arms up and down, up and down, up and down, and then hit him with a couple hard ass lefts, and he let go. And when he let go, he tried to run. Caught him with the oldest trick in the book. You know when a nigga run last and you sweep their feet from under with the old school kick. You kick their feet. Get your stupid ass over here. I swept his feet from under him, and he go toppling down on the ground. So now, you know, when he toppled down on the ground, and so now, mind you, everybody's standing still looking. The people that wasn't running, they standing there looking. Everybody's in shock. They watching everybody watching the whole shit go down. So when I trips the nigga, the little homies that he pulled the hammer out on and pressed, and all my other little homies that was with him, they start stomping this nigga out. They stomping his head all in the ground, and they stomping flames out. Nigga, I'm like, yo, watch out. I mean, I'm like, yo, move. I mean, I mean, my little man Mez, shout out to the little homie, God bless him, Dad Mez, like, yo, son, hit him in his head. I'm like, nah, I'm looking around like, dude, nah, you fucking chill. I mean, so, you know, niggas did what they did, hit the nigga and all that, and you know, left the nigga there screaming and all that screaming. This is what I be talking about with these killer ass niggas too, man. Niggas be doing all this tough shit, all this murder one talking, all this killer shit, and when you catch them, they fold and turn into women, homie. Right? where they do that at, right? Y'all niggas was killers and tough. But as soon as you get caught, you fold and you turn into women. Start singing better than Diana Ross and the Temptations and all them other female groups back in the day. These niggas start singing, screaming, and all sorts of goofy shit. What part of the game is that, right? You niggas was tough. Boom, so we left the nigga, jumped in the car. Everybody dispersed. I got this little nigga in the car with me, dude D. So I'm taking him back to the crib. So I'm like, yo, son, yo, as soon as he looking at me, his eyes wide. He got the fear of God in his face. He looking at me like, yo, son, yo, you a wild boy. Yo, I didn't know you was gonna do all you. So I'm looking at him. I'm like, yo, boy, relax. They don't know who you was in the car. You didn't get out the car. Just keep your mouth shut. Don't say nothing to anybody question you. You don't know nothing. You ain't see nothing. If anything, you just heard shots and you got down low in the car. This is me telling him this last because in my mind, I'm like, this nigga's gonna be a problem because he's too scared. And the energy he giving me is scared energy, like a nigga, like tell. So in my mind, I was contemplating, damn, should I leave this nigga? Right? But I'm like, if I leave this nigga, it's gonna cause more trouble as well because his girl knew that he left with me. His girl knew that he left with me and that I took the joints that was in the crib and gave him a joint and all that. So in my mind, I'm like, damn, I can't off this nigga, but I just felt in my heart that nigga was gonna be a problem, right? So I started to hit niggas and all that. So now it's hot. You know what I mean? Killer Ben, and another thing I forgot to mention, Killer Ben left too and stopped coming back up there because the D's had ran down on Killer in Kumar's wife car, Dawn car. Killer was riding around with Dawn in the Jeep and in the Range Rover and the D's and them ran down on him looking for me, I guess, like, because hearing about the work I was putting in and all that, like, yo, you got some dudes, whatever. Killer played dumb, but he said after that, for him, and there was helicopters out that night. He's like, yo, y'all hit something that night, and they had the helicopters out. And he said after that, I was like, nah, I'm the fuck out of this nigga knowledge. He off the chain, bugging, it's hot. I'm getting out here. You know what I mean? Good luck, be safe, but know the boys was on your ass. So I'm like, all right, cool. So after that last incident, the club in front of everybody, I said, yeah, they gonna be on my ass now. Let me get the fuck out of here, get low. So I left from Schenectady, went back down to Brooklyn, took the little homies back to Brooklyn. I'm like, yo, chill on that Schenectady shit for a minute. You know what I mean? Because it might get hot, whatever. Long story short, everybody down chilling. I go out to Ohio. I'm out in Ohio. I'm in Youngstown. Shout out to the Youngstown homies and shit. You know what I mean? I was on Kenmore. You know what I mean? Kenmore Avenue, 417 Kenmore Avenue on the south side of Youngstown, Ohio, when the feds came and caught me. So I'm out there in Ohio, homie. So now, while I'm out there in Ohio doing what I'm doing, whatever, I'm getting calls. I get the calls from my peoples from Schenectady. They're like, yo, you on the news? I'm like, on the news? What you mean? It's like, yo, they got you on the Capital Region's Most Wanted, and then they saying they're going to air the segment on America's Most Wanted. They got your picture, you with the dreads. It's an older picture of you, I think, from before when you first got out of prison, because it don't look like you now, but it looked like you know what I mean? It's a black and white still, but it was you. They got your government name, and they said you wanted in connection for 3 murders and like 9 shootings. I was like, what? Yeah, so when I got that one call, it was like a chain reaction. I guess everybody that was in Schenectady at the time that was seeing the news was seeing it, and they was calling it like, yo, boy, you know, your ass. And they saying that the U.S. Marshals and the feds was in pursuit of you. And it was like, you armed and dangerous, and that you got a criminal history record of violence and man downs and shootings and all that since the 80s. So you should be considered armed and dangerous and to approach you with lethal force if necessary. So I was like, all right, but I'm cool. I'm like, man, I'm way in motherfucking Ohio. They not like, you know what I mean? The whereabouts that they know that I'm at, they gonna be in Brooklyn, Monticello, and all that other shit before they ain't gonna think to come to Ohio, right? But I got that wrong. And another thing for the little homies, them cell phones, homie, that's how they get you. They track you through them cell phones. If they got your cell phone number, they ping your shit off of towers to find you. So dudes be thinking, oh, dudes gave me up, dudes snitched on me, dudes. Nah, if you got a cell phone that they got the number to, they track you down to the nearest closest location and they find you at. Because while I was out there on the run in Ohio, ducking and dodging, the niggas had my number. They got my number from one of the cribs that they ran in on and whatever. in Schenectady. Actually, they got my number from the crib where that dude D was, the lady that I used to go see over there or whatever. She had my number in her phone book, and they ripped the page out of her phone book, and she called me, told me, yo, they took the page that had your number on it, so they got your number. So they like, get rid of the phone. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna get rid of the phone, because if they got my number, they gonna be calling me and trying to get me to come in. So I gotta listen to see what they saying and to ascertain what's going on and how deep it is and how close they are on me. And sure enough, facts. The niggas used to call my phone last 2, 3, 4 in the morning all night. Yo, we getting close. We getting close. We getting to catch you. We finna catch you. We gonna catch you. And what happened was, my little brother, Poise, the whole time I was up north, he was out in Pittsburgh in Ohio, living out there, whatever. And they knew that. So when they started doing their research, investigations, the way they do it, they was like, oh shit, he got a brother that has a residence in Pittsburgh and out in Youngstown, Ohio. So let's go check out there, because some of the phone numbers and shit was pinging off of there was 330 area codes. That was a Youngstown or a certain part of Ohio area code, and they was like, yo, the phone records indicate he's made a lot of calls to these 330 numbers in this period of time, and this is right where he might be. And so that's how they caught me. I was out there, ducking and dodging out there. The niggas tracked me down through them cell phone records and cell phone towers, paying my location. I'm about to come out my crib one day. I got the 2 dogs, pit bulls, about to go get a dog treadmill and all that wild shit. I step out the door, look outside the door. Actually, that's not how I went down. There was a chick in there. She was leaving the crib to start the car. When she went outside to start the car, I seen her throw her hands in the air, and she called my name, the name that I had out there. She was like, yo, but then turned around and walked. So I was like, the fuck was that? So I did it wrong. I should have peeked out the window, but I went straight to the door, stuck my head out. They had the whole block surrounded, SWAT, FBI, all that wild shit, and they saw me. So it's like, whoever, I slammed the door, and my pits was on long leashes. So my pits ran out on the long leashes, and they could stay on the porch. And they was on the porch going crazy, barking, all crazy, wild shit. I slammed the door, ran back in the crib. I ran downstairs to the basement, looking out that way. They had that way surrounded. I went back up the stairs, looked out the backyard window. They had that shit surrounded. There was no way for me to go, right? They had the spot surrounded. There was nowhere for me to go. I had shit in there, money and all that wild shit. So, I did the old school shit. I ain't gonna say that because it's still a good hiding spot. And the boys be listening, they hear this shit. That might make them want to check that. But I hid all the shit I had, the money and all that wild shit and all that. And then I gave myself up. I went out because there was nowhere else to go. They had the spot surrounded, and I was like, fuck it. Right, I called my people, Joe, the feds, and said they got me. There's no way I can get around this. I can't get out. They got the crib surrounded. I'm just, the niggas like, you don't go to the place of glory. I said, nah, nigga, I'm not doing no dumb shit like that. I'm gonna go out there like a man and think, that's it. So I went out there, the niggas cuffed me, threw me in, took me to the Ohio County Jail in Youngstown, kept me there for about a week. The feds came and got me. Flew me from Ohio, drove me from Ohio to Cleveland and put me on a plane to Cleveland, and they brought me back to New York, right? So I was on parole at the time. I'm on parole in New York, Brooklyn, New York. So I'm assuming that, they're going to take me back down to Brooklyn, and to Rikers Island, where all the times, when I get into the Sumner Tompkins beef, and when I was putting in the work in that situation, and niggas was telling, and police was snatching me up, and I was catching parole violations and all that, I was always on Rikers Island. Shout out to my lawyer too, from back then, Larry Rothstein. Everybody know what it's hitting for with Rothstein. Back in them days, Rothstein, in them 90s, Rothstein got me out of a shitload of situations, right, that I didn't get to. And this is what they did, last. The feds and them, they play a little bit different, because they was assistant. It wasn't a Fed case. They didn't pick it up, but they was assistant and all that. There was the feds, the U.S. Marshals, the feds that grabbed me and turned me over to the state. But this is how they tricked me. Oh, this is how they freaked me. I beat, at least since I came home in 9-6 and then 9-7, getting in the situation 9-8 when that Sumner Tompkins beat jumped off and shit was getting crazy and hot with the Hammer games again. I beat like 6 or 7 attempt murders in that time, and with Lawrence Rothstein. right? With niggas telling and all that. Went to the grand jury and spit my spiel, and they believed my joint and let me the fuck up out of there. With dudes saying I shot them, all sorts of goofy shit, right? Telling ass niggas. But anyway, they said, nah, he got this lawyer. He done got around 6 or 7 shootings already. And he's wanted for all sorts of other crazy shit. So nah, we not gonna take him to New York with his lawyer. We gonna force him. That's how the feds play. We gonna force him to have to spend money. So they took me to Schenectady County. I'm like, because they saying, yo, the transgressions, the shootings, and the homicides investigations are started in Schenectady. So they gonna keep me in Schenectady instead of taking me down to New York. I ain't even know no shit like that was legal. What they said was, yo, because my lawyer, Rothstein, and all that was challenging it, they was like, well, he's on parole in the state of New York. Not the city, the state. The state entails the entire New York. So we can hold parole hearings for him and hold him anywhere we want in the state of New York. Schenectady, Albany is the state of New York. So technically, we not in violation. I guess they was correct. I guess that was right. You know what I mean? They had me there in Schenectady, but I don't know what they thought. You know what I mean? Especially after all that time I did up north and learning the law and all that. All right, Rothstein, they did that so they know you're not gonna be flying and driving way back up here. All right, you know what I mean? Do what you do. Get me the best dude out here. That's exactly what he did. Rothstein got me the best criminal attorney from out of there. I think his name was something Bailey. I gotta look it up, or his name might be on that paperwork. But he was my attorney. I paid him. You know what I mean? We got the bread, paid him, and he was representing me, right? And then the niggas tried to charge me with all sorts of drug kingpin charges and murders that I didn't have nothing to do with, didn't have no knowledge of. Shootings, like at least 7 to 8 non-unsolved shootings. They had it. And guess what, Lash? Guess what was the underlying complainant that got all of this shit started?
Who?
That little nigga D from the Bronx with the glasses. That blood nigga that I said don't take with me, but I took him anyway. When the police ran down on that lady crib, on all the cribs that they knew I frequented in Schenectady, he was in the crib, and I guess he must have had work or whatever, ham in there, whatever. So he got arrested. And you know how they play the game, homie. Oh, you're an accomplice and all this. If you know this and you know anything about that and whatever, you better let us know now, because if you don't, you know what I mean, we gonna hit you with the charge, whatever. The long story short, whatever they said to him was enough to get him to fold. And I guess he gave me up, and I guess he gave up the situation that he was a party to, right? So now I'm sitting there, I get an amended complaint. Right? They originally charged me was only a parole violation, right? Because they didn't give me no criminal charges yet. So I get and so my parole charges only consisted of failing to report and leaving the state without permission, because I left the state of New York and they found me in Ohio, and I didn't have permission to be in Ohio. So that was the bullshit they used, right? Leaving the state without permission. So I'm like, all right. So I'm like, cool. Those aren't no serious shits, but I knew that the big shit was coming, because they got me on America's Most Wanted and Capital Region's Most Wanted for the big shit. So I knew the big shit was coming. So I lawyered up, whatever. So the lawyer was proactive, and he was getting schooled by my lawyer, Rothstein, from down in New York, that knew how to play it. So he telling them what to do, and we requesting to go to grand juries and all this wild shit. And long story short, while I'm in there and getting the intel and getting the paperwork and all that, and I figured out, you know what I mean, who was doing what, and you know what I mean, you know how that shit go, homie. Dudes get on their job, get shit straightened out, and it doesn't pan out for them the way they thought it was gonna pan out for them. So they were so sick, right, that they couldn't get me for all of the shit that they wanted to get me for. Cause shout out to them Schenectady dudes, homie, them niggas that was taking them shots and all that, and that lived through all that. Them niggas held it down. They ain't tell. They could have, but they didn't. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm going to give them their flowers as stand-up dudes in that aspect, because a lot of dudes would have told. You know what I mean? They didn't tell. They held it down. I guess they figured, you know, when we see them niggas, we gonna do us. But they didn't tell, so they couldn't pin none of the shootings on me, because anybody that was a victim to the shootings that lived didn't fold. Nobody told. And the dude that was a witness to it, the little D dude, whatever, you know what I mean? You know, so, you know, I guess whatever statements he gave to them, regarding whatever, he must have recanted and gotten the win. And they could never find his ass no more. Once he got the win, they couldn't find him. So now they tight. They got all of these allegations of criminal conduct against me, but they can't utilize it because they don't have no witnesses. Nobody's willing to come forward. So this is what they did. Like, these motherfuckers dirty. These niggas, because they couldn't get me on the criminal charges, they couldn't build a case to prosecute me criminally, and the feds didn't want to touch it, because the feds only like cases that they know was a slam dunk and that they could more than likely win, which is why their conviction rate is so high, because they only take cases really that they know they're gonna slam me on. So they didn't pick up the case from the state. They was like, yo, y'all said y'all got him, y'all can deal with it. We got him for y'all. He's in y'all custody, deal with him. These pussies couldn't do nothing with me last. So you know what they did? They used parole to get me, right? Because at the time I was on parole. I probably owed about like 9 years or some shit like that, something like that, on parole. Left 8-9 years left. So what they did was they used the allegations of the criminal activity that was made in the complaint at my parole hearing. I'm like, yo, that's not legal. These are all allegations. I haven't been convicted of anything. Y'all can't use this against me. Y'all said y'all was giving me a parole violation for failing to report and leaving the state without permission. That only carries 12 months. 24 months, because I was a category 1. So 24 months. I'm like, cool. I'm cool with the 24 months, right? I'll take that, right? Let's get it. Nah, he's like, nah, homie, we got you for all this other extracurricular shit, and this what you gonna hold down? These allegations, right? Because in parole hearings aren't ran like criminal court proceedings. You don't have to have, I guess, all that reason. All they need to be is like probable cause or an abundance of evidence or whatever the fuck it is that they needed. It's not the same as in a criminal proceeding. So basically what they did was they railroaded me, because they couldn't get me on nothing criminal. They railroaded me on the parole shit, and the things gave me like 3.5 years, 40 something months. I was like, yo, how the fuck can you do that on a parole violation? So long story short, the niggas couldn't charge me criminally. All that America's Most Wanted and all that capital, none of that shit mean nothing, homie. So all that tactics they use, little homies that's listening, to scare you and all that, don't get discouraged by that. If you know what I mean, fight till you find it out. Always fight till you find it out. Don't never give up. Fight till you find it out. I fought, you know what I mean, till I found them out. They couldn't do nothing with me criminally. They folded the criminal cases, went after me on the parole shit, ended up giving me 40 months. You know what I mean? And that's when I went, you know what I mean? But at this time it was like 2001 when I had my final hearings and all that wild shit. They gave me 40 months, and I stayed in they sent me up north and all that. I went to Green. That's when I went to Green and got all them stories from Green. And I stayed in Green from 2001 to 2004. So that was that, you know, that was that whole Schenectady situation, right? Like, you know what I mean? And the lesson out of all of that for me was, right, you know, sometimes maybe when you out of town, right, and you get money, and you in other dudes' towns, it depends on the situation, homie. It might be okay to show a little love and, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Invite some of the dudes in, because I think that's what all of that shit kind of like really stems from, right? We was getting money, and we was getting all the money when we was in town. Nobody out there couldn't eat because they shit was inferior to what we was pushing, right? So they couldn't eat, and a couple of dudes that did reach out and try to fuck with us, whatever, I kind of shut it down. I don't know y'all niggas. You know what I mean? Y'all niggas can be rats, all sorts of shit. I ain't rocking with none of y'all niggas. But in hindsight, right? Because everything be hindsight for me. In hindsight, maybe I could have fucked with a couple of them little dudes out there that might have been solid, because it was solid dudes out there that could have been solid. I could have had them dudes that was from out there on the team, and a lot of that shit might have been avoided. Or maybe it wouldn't have, right? I don't know, because I didn't do it. But what I do know is that moving forward, after that situation, when I came home from that situation, whatever, and if I decided to endeavor on the money question, all that, and go into other dudes' areas and shit, I would now seek out dudes from those areas that was getting money and see if it was ways that we could get money together. I could fuck with them, because I learned, right? Instead of having animosity and jealousy and ill will towards you, you might want to have some favor in your direction, okay? So that's what I learned, and that's what I took from all that. And then for all the little homies out there and the little chicks out there and all that we went at it with, right? Like, the lesson for y'all is, like, sometimes know who you fucking with, right? So everybody's not playing, right? Everybody's not playing, and everybody's not going to handle a situation or treat a situation the same way, right? As you said in your motherfucking, one of the stories that we did, that how disrespectful robbery was to a Brooklyn nigga, right? I came from the robbery era. I respected the robbery, homie. All right, dudes were slipping. Y'all ran up in the spot. Dudes had to learn a hard lesson. I told them they didn't learn. You know what I mean? The little homie fresh, so he learned the hard way, right? But my thing is, right? Don't do too much, homie. You got the goods. You got what you wanted. Cool. Niggas might respect it. Be jacking. All right, niggas robbed it. All right, they're gonna catch me slipping next time. But when you add all that insult to injury and all that tough guy killer shit, right? Keep in mind, somebody might call you bluff, right? Oh yeah, your niggas dumb, and tell your bosses if they looking for us, SOS, we straight out of Schenectady, we out here, whatever, we ain't running, come find us, right? You say shit like that, somebody might take you up on that and come find you, right? Don't do that, homie. Y'all jacking niggas and all that, get your jack on and keep it pushing, right? Don't make it into something it's not. Back in the days when I used to do my robberies, when I run down a nigga, I tell him all the time, yo, homie, this is a robbery. Don't turn this into a homicide, right? So 211, don't turn this into no 187, right? This is gonna go how you react. Be easy. You might walk away from the situation with your life. Minus whatever we take it from you, but you got your life, which should be the most important part, right? So hold that down. Dudes don't be, I don't know, dudes, a lot of times, everybody move differently, so dudes think differently. Some dudes, want to perform and poke their chests out and all that wild shit. So, for all you niggas that perform and poke your chests out and all that, when that heat come, deal with it. Hold it down. Don't run to the police. Don't snitch and all that. You know what I mean? Don't do that. And the funny thing was, the little dude, from the first part of the story, the little dude that was like the leader of the young dudes and all that wild shit, that same little dude that I was talking about, that I backed out the 2 hammers on and my little man froze and didn't get out the car so we could kidnap him, that same little dude turned out to be a rat, was working for the police. And he was the leader of the whole little shit. He fucked on dudes in his own team, told all murders that they did and all that, and that's what they did. That little nigga, a couple murders they did, he tried to throw in my direction, attribute them to me. But they couldn't, right? You gotta be able to prove shit like that, right? He can lie and tell the police anything he wants, but if they try to charge me with it, right, them charges gotta be able to stand up, right? Those allegations have to be able to be corroborated by something. So if you can't do all that, that's why I say niggas don't have to tell, bro. A lot of times they get you because you tell on yourself. They get you in them rooms and they start interrogating you and throwing all these scare tactics on you and dudes fool when you don't have to do that, homie. You don't. Hold it down, see what they got against you, and figure out ways to fight it. And a lot of times, which was happened in my case, you might come out on a winning end as opposed to the losing end, because all of the shootings and man downs and shit that they had me accused of and all that, I fought that shit, homie. right? When they thought they had me dead to right. Witnesses and all that. I fought that shit and was still able to get around it. So there's nothing is ironclad, homie. Dudes know your state situations they be in. They know what they should fight and what they shouldn't fight. And my thing is, right, there's no reason to fool and be working and cooperating and doing their fucking job for them, homie. No, ain't no reason to do that. But shout out to my homies out there in Schenectady, man. My real niggas out there in Schenectady, that's still out there in Schenectady to this day, holding it down. Dudes that was with me out there on them endeavors where, you know what I mean, had to teach them dudes a couple lessons and shit. And hopefully, you know what I mean, them dudes learn from that. You know what I mean? Any of them dudes that's around that's still alive and made it through that, hopefully they, you know what I mean, learn something out of that, change their lives around and whatever, and doing some different positive shit, homie. But that was that situation, you know what I mean?
Let me ask you this one question. That whole shit that went down with you know, I know them niggas violated, they robbed niggas and all of that, but was it that you felt niggas really violated, or was it more that you wanted to train young niggas on how to get busy and rep this Brooklyn shit when you out of state?
Right. So it was a combination of both, right? Right? Because like I said, if it would have just been a straight robbery or whatever, and they, you know what I mean, I would have jacked it. I would have told my little man fresh, right? That's what you get. It would have been a I told you so moment, right? As much as some people hate to say I told you so, but I would have gave them an I told you so moment. I told you, don't be trusting these dudes and these bros, you don't know them. They might be trying to line you up. He didn't listen, he thought shit was sweet, hard-headed young bull. They treated him, they locked him up, they robbed him, pistol him, they could have killed him. So hopefully he learned from that situation, right? So for me, it was the fact that not only did you violate my man, but you talk shit, right? You called me out, right? You called me out and said, tell your boss to pull up, right? If he's looking for us, we these dudes, this is, you know what I mean? We out here, this is what we do, this is where we be at. If he's looking for us, he wants some smoke, let us know.
You know what's crazy? They say that no matter what we do in this world, no matter how advanced this world gets, men, we love war. It's the only thing that really makes us happy. Money don't do it. Pussy run out after a while. It's boring after a while. The only thing that men really truly love and live for is fucking war, my nigga. Some type of war. It don't always gotta be a violent war, but some type of war is the only thing that make men happy. And that's why sports is such a big thing. It's a motherfucking civilized war.
So everything that you said is a fact too, homie, and it can be sure to prove because that's a fact. Because I think of how giddy and happy I get on the times when I used to have to put work in, right? I used to get excited, like, yeah, a challenge. I'm gonna bust my gun and get guns bust at me, and I used to, that used to do it for me. So I was hyped and excited and happy to go to war. But look at America, homie. Look at the United States of America, right?
They the same
way.
They the same way.
What you gotta do, but check it. They showing to prove itself. Every president that has damn near ever been elected in office, for as far back as I can remember, was involved in some sort of war or conflict during their presidency. And that's a fact.
That's a whole
fact.
Name
me a president in this country that wasn't at war with Iraq or meddling in somebody else's business. Homie, so you're 100% correct on your assessment that men love war. That's a fact. We do. And to answer the second part of your question, yeah, I wanted to show Fresh and all the other little homies, like, listen, Kofi, I told you a little hard-headed ass, right, that this is to not do a certain shit, and then you did, and then when it's time to get crazy on the war tip, you ain't even really about that life. So let me show you how it's done, right? So, yeah, like you said, I wanted to show the little homies and all that, when niggas violate, this is how you put the work in. This is the level that you take it to. And this is how relentless and unrelenting and unyielding you are when you in war. Last, every day for like about 40-something days straight, 50-something days straight, me and Hook was on them niggas' ass. Killer at one point said, yo, y'all niggas is wildin', bro. Like, y'all won't stop. Like, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna stop. I'm never gonna stop. And I was already in war mode, tuned up, because this is 99, so we was already into some of the targets beat, right? So I was already acting and giving out the business mode, because I was like, oh, these little niggas nowadays think that if you know what I mean, if you had a reputation from back in the days and you chilling, that you still not that same dude. They might think that you don't put that same type of pain in, right? I had to show them that everybody's not the same, homie. Everybody's not the same, and some niggas is not gonna play with you. And I showed them niggas out there that I'm not playing. Nowhere on this planet am I playing with anybody, ever, at any time. I'm not playing with niggas because I know some niggas act like me, they not playing either, right? So I'm gonna treat everybody like they not playing, and my version of not playing is giving out the business first, right? Viciously. Jumping off of balconies and diving off of fire escapes and hurdling fences and jumping through dumpsters and all that. That shit was like the Olympics. Because we was giving out that business, and them rocks was hot as a motherfucker, and niggas was playing hopscotch to get around them hot rocks. Facts. All facts.
And you said overall, though, Schenectady won your respect with how official they kept it?
Schenectady, right? Overall, I've always loved Schenectady since when I first got introduced to it. I told you my man that was with me in Collins, you know what I mean, that was from Schenectady. He put me on to Schenectady. Yo, you ever get out, whatever, I like your style, you're a real dude, whatever, you know what I mean, get with me, you know what I mean, it's money out here, you know what I mean, it's money. So, Schenectady was, I ain't gonna front, homie, Schenectady was fire. Schenectady has some of the baddest chicks that I come across in a lot of different places that I travel to. Schenectady had beautiful women, and Schenectady was, son, niggas was making like 8 racks a day out there, homie, on them, you know what I mean, from Wednesdays to Sundays, right? It was, I ain't never seen no, right? You know, we in the hood, niggas got 2 pounds, 3 pounds and all that in the hood. That slow money, right? That slow shit, the way it come, some spots you take it, but not like that, right? 8 bands a day? And where you know they making 8 bands on a Sunday, homie? Them niggas out there was bringing money and getting money damn near 7 days a week, right? These are facts. So, and some of the dudes out there was somewhat solid, because I told you, you know, it was a couple situations where a lot of niggas got touched, and out of all the niggas that got touched and made it through that, they held it down, homie. They could have too. They didn't. So I had a different type of respect for them dudes. I said, yo, them Schenectady dudes, as small as that little town is, they got some niggas out there that can take some ass whoopers and that'll give out some pain to the right type of dudes, and they was holding it down. So I respected them for the fact that they was holding it down, and you know, if the circumstances and the situations could have been different, we'd have met on different terms, and it wouldn't have been no violence and aggression, I could have fucked with them niggas, because there was some real dudes. And I ran into a couple of the dudes that got hit and all that when I was during my travels, when I did that bid, when they gave me that 40-something months. When I went up to Green and all that, a couple of dudes that got shot, I seen them, spoke to them, we talked and all that, and let them know, like, you know what I mean, homie, y'all niggas was out of pocket. The only reason I did what I did is because y'all was out of pocket, right? Because these was young dudes, right? They wasn't on my level, lads. These was kids to me, right? They couldn't fuck me on no level, in the street or in prison. I'm wilder in prison than I'm in the street, because in prison I could do really what I want, because I'm already incarcerated. So my mentality is, what you gonna do to me? I'm stabbing and cutting everything and beating this shit out of everything, because the most you could do to me is put me in the hole, right? Unless I kill a nigga and you give me a new charge. But But other than that, I could really let my head down in prison and get crazy. So the niggas that when they ran across me in prison and the representative, they was like, nah, listen, this nigga was wild in the streets. So we can imagine how he said, we don't want no problems, homie. But listen, I didn't, still, they didn't have nothing to do with it. But like I said, I was schooling these little dudes, giving them the game. So hopefully, right, they probably didn't get that type of lesson and information from their OGs. Hopefully, they wiser individuals now, and they know how to move accordingly, right? Sometimes you got to teach niggas lessons, lads, because they never been taught lessons before in their life, right? Sometimes you got to spank a nigga ass for them to realize, like, yo, that shit you do, homie, it's not cool, and it's not going to be tolerated or accepted over here. I don't give a fuck how many times you did it someplace else and got away with it, but over here, you do that shit, you getting your head handed to you on a platter. You getting your ass handed to you, homie, right? Because, right, you fucking with a nigga that's been getting busy since the 80s, right? I'm not playing lies. I've been putting that pain in since I was 13, 14 years old. I'm not letting them little niggas get out on me. Same shit with some of the talking shit when we get into that. I wasn't letting them little niggas get out on me, right? They didn't have enough experience to me, right? Because they wasn't willing to do the shit that I was willing to do, right, in order to get the job done. And I saw that. So I didn't really, a lot of dudes, I didn't even really want to hurt these dudes, right? Because they was little young boys. And in my mind, I was saying, damn, man, these little young dudes got the wrong instruction, the wrong guidance. Whoever they big homies are, weren't educating them right. The way I got educated by my big homies in the 80s. I said, damn, after the spanking, some of these dudes could be reformed and given some game and some information, and they could turn out to be pretty solid motherfuckers, homie. You ain't got to kill everybody. That's a lot of my homies used to tell me a lot. Yo, Nas, bro, everybody ain't got to die, bro. Like, you, right, bring it down a little bit. You ain't got to kill everybody, homie. Some people are redeemable, right? They just need to see and acknowledge, right? And then you're an intelligent dude. Dudes fuck with you. Dudes respect you. Give them the game. You ain't got to just keep spanking everybody. Give them the game. And that's what I was doing with the little talking songs, because that's right across the street from me, homie. Right? I grew up in Tompkins and Marcy, Sumner, Bushwick, and all that. So I didn't really, that's my hood. I didn't want to go to war with them little dudes, Lance. I didn't want to hurt them little dudes. But them little dudes was out of pocket. And them little dudes wasn't respecting nothing. Now they old heads and targets, they OGs or nothing. They wasn't trying to listen. They wasn't trying to hear nothing because they thought they was them little niggas. But they had hammers and they was deep, and they thought that they was them little dudes, man. And they was disrespectful and all that. But right, you could do all that, right? But you can only do that to certain people. You bring that type of energy to the right motherfucker, and the right motherfucker is going to put you on your ass or set you straight, right? And I was always that right motherfucker for those type of jobs. So when you come at me on goofy time and I get goofy, my whole thing is don't call the police, homie. Because if you get out on me, I'm not calling the police. I'm taking anything to my grave. So my whole thing is, if you get no problem with me, please don't go to the police, because I'm never going to go to the police. I'm not going to tell them nothing. I'm not going to inform them about nothing. I'm not going to give them no hints. I'm not going to draw snitch. None of that. Whatever you do, I'm going to hold it down. So whatever I do, please, I always tell those, hold it down. That's it. Just hold it down. Right? Some dudes jacked it, held it down. A lot of dudes didn't, man. Dude, 911, help! 718 tips, help! This nigga's a madman. He's going crazy. I know what he looks like. I know where you can find him. Please go get him off the street before he kill me. Yeah, man. Fucking dudes is crazy, man.
This video was sponsored by Mitchell Law Firm. If you have a record, or you happen to know somebody who has a record, and that record is hindering or impeding the quality of employment they're able to obtain, I strongly suggest you seek the law services of Farrah Mitchell. Miss Mitchell is a criminal law attorney who specializes in record expungement. Her services are nationwide, meaning regardless of whatever state you may have been convicted in, she still may be able to help. She also offers various other legal services at an extremely reasonable rate. She can be contacted at 980-329-7568. So once again, I strongly suggest you contact her, get your record expunged, and get your life back in order.